State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada.
The Nevada State Railroad Museum has a variety collection of Virginia and Truckee locomotives in rolling stock, and the museum activities consist of operation of historic 4 feet 8.5 inch gauge and 36-inch gauge railroad equipment, including train rides, handcar rides, lectures, an annual railroad history symposium, changing exhibits, and a variety of special events. The museum has an ongoing research and restoration program. The museum's most recent event is the rebuilding of Inspiration Interpretation Center, and possibly the HO scale model railroad operated by the Carson model railroaders who operate the Mills Park Railroad. Also, the Nevada State Railroad Museum is located on 2180 South Carson Street in Carson City, Nevada, and is open Thursday through Monday, and they operate steam locomotives and motor cars while giving visitors rides on the museum grounds.
Right behind me is Virginia Truckee number 9.
Virginia Truckee 9 was built by Kimball Carriage and Car Manufacturing Company in San Francisco, California in 1873. Like the earlier coach Virginia Truckee 8 and later Virginia Truckee Coach 15 and Virginia Truckee 9 worked in caboose and third-class passenger service at the end of freight trains. Sometime between 1875 and 1890, the car was modified by removing the side doors, and its passenger compartment was extended through the former baggage compartment, making it a simple coach or miner's car. Virginia Truckee 9 continued in regular use on freight trains until the downturn in Comstock mine business in the 1890s. After that, it was only used occasionally. Virginia Truckee 9 was converted to Virginia Truckee Maintenance Avoy Sleeper 9. Virginia, April 25, 1908, with the addition of a small clerestory in 1913. Virginia Truckee 9 was converted again, this time to a traditional caboose with the addition of a cupola. In 1938, Virginia Truckee 9 began a new career when Paramount Pictures purchased it for $200 for Cecil B. DeMille's epic Union Pacific. The movie studio removed the cupola, used for occasional movies. After that, Virginia Truckee 9 was finally purchased by the state of Nevada in December 1971, and in 1982-1983 was carefully restored to its 1873 appearance. Virginia Truckee 9 operated in 1986 at the Steam Expo in British Columbia and is currently on display at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, where it is today.
What you see right behind me is Virginia Truckee number 22.
Virginia Truckee 22 was built by Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1875 and is the 3693rd steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 440 American type steam locomotive. Virginia Truckee 22 is also named Inyo. Virginia Truckee 22 once appeared in the movies High, Wide, and Handsome, followed by roles in Union Pacific, Red River, and Disney's The Great Locomotive Chase. Virginia and Truckee 22 then last operated in 1965 for the TV series Wild Wild West. Virginia and Truckee 22 participated in the Golden Spike Centennial at Promontory, Utah, starting in 1970. Virginia and Truckee 22 appeared in as a replica of Central Pacific 60, which is named Jupiter at the Golden Spike National Historic Site. The state of Nevada purchased Virginia and Truckee 22 in 1974 when it was no longer need for display. Virginia and Truckee 22 returned home to Carson City, Nevada after more than a year of restoration work. Virginia and Truckee 22 made her debut on May 29, 1983, since the wood-burning brass Betsy has operated on numerous occasions and participated at the grand opening of the Palace Station Casino in Las Vegas. During April of 1984, it was also one of the stars at the 1996 4th of July Transportation Fair. Also, there are times Virginia and Truckee 22 is scheduled to operate on the museum grounds at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, and still is preserved today. Also, Virginia and Truckee 22 is one of 4 surviving Virginia and Truckee 440s in the world today and can be found here at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada.
What you see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee 4.
Virginia and Truckee 4 was built by Kimball Carriage and Car Manufacturing Company in San Francisco, California in 1872. Virginia and Truckee 4 was used for the Virginia and Truckee Lightning Express passenger train between Virginia City, Nevada and Reno, Nevada. The new train provided first-class passenger service between the mines of the Comstock and the Central Pacific Railroad, with connections to San Francisco and mine the world. In 1878, the Virginia and Truckee again rearranged the cars in its express train, and Virginia and Truckee Kimball Coach 3 was designed as a smoker. Virginia and Truckee Coach 17 was rebuilt as the regular coach, while Virginia and Truckee Kimball Coach 4 was a spare used when either of the other 2 cars needed repair. More coaches arrived on the Virginia and Truckee in 1890 and 1906, but the Kimball coaches continued in regular service, including receiving electric lights in 1917. In 1925, the express train made its last run, and the Kimball coaches were relegated to special excursion services. Change came in 1938 when both coaches were sold to Paramount Pictures for use in the movies. They remained in Hollywood until 1972 when Short Lines Enterprises acquired them and resold Coach 4 to the state of Nevada. In 1984, Virginia and Truckee 4 was restored to its appearance in the mid-1880s when it ran the Lightning Express. Also today, Virginia and Truckee 4 can be found here at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada.
What you see right behind me is Station Petro and Carson Valley Line.
Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 was built by Henry Kirkporter in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1882 and is the 513th steam locomotive built by that factory and is an 042 tank engine type steam locomotive. Dayton Central and Carson Valley was also built as a 36-inch gauge steam locomotive. Also, Dayton Central and Carson Valley number 1 is named Joe Douglas. In 1869, J. Birdsall had built a horse-drawn line from his silver trailing in Gold Canyon to a mill in Dayton. In 1882, he sold the line to Joe Douglas, from whom the locomotive gets its name. Douglas incorporated the line as the Dayton Central and Carson Valley Railroad. Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 was the only locomotive on the Dayton Central and Carson Valley. Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 first steamed on June 12, 1882 and worked until the late 1890s. Maintenance and repairs were carried out by crews at Virginia and Truckee's Carson City shops. Also in 1990, Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 was sold to the Lake Arrowhead Development Company and shipped to California to work on Lake Arrowhead Dam after the dam was completed in 1904. Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 was abandoned on a short stretch of track until 1947. It then went through several owners until bought by Robert Walton in 1968. He restored it to operating condition. Walton moved it to Los Altos, California in the mid-1970s, where he kept Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 in his backyard. Concerned about the future of the locomotive, he felt it should return to Nevada. Then the Nevada State Railroad Museum bought it from Robert Walton in 1994, and today the Dayton Central and Carson Valley 1 can be found inside the main building at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada today.
What you see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee 22.
Virginia and Truckee 22 was built by McKean Motor Car Company in Omaha, Nebraska in 1910 and is a 70-foot gas-powered McKean motor car and is known as a wind splitter kind of motor car. This motor car was used to provide twice-a-day passenger service between Minden, Nevada and Carson City, Nevada. By 1932, passenger traffic on the Virginia and Truckee was declining all over the railroad. The McKean car was rebuilt in the shops with expanded mail and express space and placed in service all the way from Reno, Nevada to Minden, Nevada, making a round trip once per day. The car finally made its last run in September 1945, one of the last unmodified McKean cars running in the nation. In 1946, the body was sold to become a diner and later Al's Plumbing Supply Office in Carson City, Nevada. Virginia and Truckee 22 was donated to the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada in early 1996. The official unveiling of the restored car was May 9, 2010, 100 years exactly from the date it was delivered to the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. Also, there are times Virginia and Truckee 22 operates on the museum grounds and hauls the museum visitors around the museum grounds. And Virginia and Truckee 22 is like the only surviving wind splitter left in the world and is preserved at the Nevada State Railroad Museum today.
see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee number 1005.
Virginia and Truckee 1005 was built by the Central Pacific Shops in Sacramento, California in 1872. Virginia and Truckee 1005 is one of the very oldest American freight cars in existence. The outside braced combination boxcar first saw service on the Virginia and Truckee early in 1873. The choice of this particular type of car with its open and or closed style doors and windows proved superior very early to transporting not only merchandise but perishable supplies and livestock, since the Virginia and Truckee had very little rolling stock of its own and rented locomotives, passengers, and freight cars from the Central Pacific in the first years. It is not surprising when the need arose for cars that the Virginia and Truckee chose to order them from the Central Pacific, identified as a combination boxcar. The yellow painted Virginia and Truckee 1005 was not one of 5 Central Pacific built boxcars that enabled the Virginia and Truckee to carry a multitude of loads, originally furnished with hazardous link and pin couplers and hand-operated brakes. New ICC rules laid down in the late 1890s compelled the Virginia and Truckee to equip the car with a safer type of coupler and Westinghouse air brakes. It was also during this decade the 30,000-pound capacity car lost the distinctive vented side and end doors when shop crews converted it into a more limited service after the early 1900s. By 1916, records indicate the 40-year-old boxcar was no longer listed on the roster, as the Virginia and Truckee's freight business fell short to warrant upgrading. Virginia and Truckee 1005 was then detrucked and was used as a tool house and scales for the next 20 years. Then in 1933, to fulfill Paramount Pictures requested a vintage railroad rolling stock for their epic film epic Union Pacific. The wooden car body was rescrewed, placed on trucks and shipped to the movie location in Utah. Also, Virginia and Truckee 1005 can be found at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada.
What you see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee 162.
Virginia and Truckee 162 was built by the Virginia and Truckee Shops in Carson City, Nevada in 1891. Virginia and Truckee 162 was originally numbered as 338. Virginia and Truckee 162 was one of 12 new flat cars constructed in 1891 and at the Carson City Shops. The 12 flat cars were constructed of the new wood, but with the trucks and hardware from earlier dismantled Virginia and Truckee flat cars. Outshopped on February 2, 1891, flat car number 338 weighed 15,500 pounds and had a capacity of 12 tons. The car was equipped with Lincoln pin couplers and was painted red with white lettering. Semi-automatic couplers and Westinghouse air brakes were added in 1898. In 1901, the body was raised to meet the ICC standard coupler height of 34.5 inches. Tower automatic couplers replaced the Sam's couplers in 1902. The Virginia and Truckee retired several of their old flat cars in 1902 and renumbered the remaining good flat cars into the second series flat car roster, with Virginia and Truckee 338 becoming second series flat car Virginia and Truckee 162. Between 1902 and 1912, grab iron handholds and steps were added to meet the newer ICC safety requirements. In 1917, Virginia and Truckee Second Series Flat Car 162 was renumbered to Second Series Flat Car 140 and retained that number until being sold to Paramount Pictures Inc. in 1938 for $75. The car appeared in the movie Union Pacific as Union Pacific Flat Car 943. Paramount sold the car to the state of Nevada in 1971. The car has been restored to its 1905 appearance and as Second Series Flat Car 162 and is currently on display at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada today. The turntable was constructed by Nevada State Railroad Museum and is built to Southern Pacific plans. This basic A-frame design was first used by Central Pacific during its construction years in the 1860s, and similar to turntables were built by the Virginia and Truckee, the Carson in Colorado, and the Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Plumbing Company. In the 1870s and 1880s, this specific design version, built by Nevada State Railroad Museum with the lower center king post in the center of the A-frame, is based on standard Southern Pacific drawings dating from 1906 and first introduced by Southern Pacific in the late 1800s, and as an improvement of earlier designs. A similar Southern Pacific turntable still survives today at the Laws Railroad Museum on the old Carson in Colorado line near Bishop, California. New turntables are being built in Folsom, Placerville, at the Orange Empire Railway Museum, all using Nevada State Railroad Museum patterns. The Nevada State Railroad Museum turntable is used to turn locomotives and cars and provides access to the museum shop and storage building functions that turntables have traditionally provided. It is a fitting 19th century design appropriate for a museum such as Nevada State Railroad Museum with a large collection of equipment from the last century.
Right behind you is the Wabasca Depot.
The Wabasca Railroad Station was constructed in 1906 by the Southern Pacific Railroad as a freight and passenger station serving the Mason Valley region of Lyon County, Nevada. Early rail service to Wabasca was operated by Carson and Colorado Railroad Company until 1900, when the Southern Pacific Railroad purchased the company. During the early 1900s, the Wabasca region served as the principal supplier of agricultural products for the mining camps in Tonopah and Goldfield. Increased freight traffic between Wabasca and the neighboring mining camps, coupled with the discovery of copper ore in the Mason Valley, promoted the Southern Pacific to erect a new depot in Wabasca. By August 1906, a crew of 8 Southern Pacific carpenters were working on the new station. which opened for business by October. From 1910 to 1947, Webaska also served as the transfer point for the Nevada Copper Belt Railroad, a major carrier of copper ore. The depot is a single-story wood-framed building 24 feet wide by 80 feet long with a gravel roof, the eaves of which project several feet from the exterior walls. This overhang is supported by brackets. A large bay window on the side of the building originally housed the ticket office, while the other three sides contained sliding freight doors. The interior of the depot was divided into 3 rooms. The south half of the building accommodated freight. The center contained the ticket office, and the northern end served as passenger waiting room. The station is typical early 20th century Nevada depot architecture, one of few examples in the state today, and one of the last 2 surviving stations of the Hazen to Mena branch of the Southern Pacific Railroad. Of the 7 stations constructed to serve this branch, only the Webaska and Freight Station in Mena survive. The Webaska remained in active service until declining freight and passenger service forced the station to close in 1979 instead of demolishing the vacant depot. The Southern Pacific donated the Webaska Depot to the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada. In 1983, the depot was moved to the museum complex in Carson City and restored, and also the Webaska Depot is used for museum visitors to board the train and ride the museum train on days the trains are scheduled to operate, and where you can buy a ticket inside and ride the train.
What you see right behind me is the water tower.
This is a replica water tower completed in 1987 and is built to a 2/3 scale of the original Virginia and Truckee structure. The water tower with a 4,500-gallon capacity is used by the steam trains. The water tower is a replica of the one of that serviced the Virginia and Truckee Railroad at Franktown, Nevada. The Virginia and Truckee water tower stood at Frankton in the Washoe Valley until late 1983, when it was lowered to the ground because it had become unstable. Then it got moved to Carson City, Nevada, to be one of the structures at the Nevada State Railroad Museum, and still used to fill water into the steam locomotives that operate on the museum grounds.
What you see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee 53.
Virginia and Truckee 53 was built by Virginia and Truckee shops in Virginia City, Nevada in 1875. Virginia and Truckee 53 was originally Virginia and Truckee 336. In 1902, it was renumbered as Virginia and Truckee 53. Tunnel cars were used to inspect and maintain the interior of the tunnels along the Virginia and Truckee. The open sides allowed easy access to the tunnel walls, and workmen could climb on the roof of the cars to inspect the roof of the tunnels. The roof was originally flat, but in 1947 a slope was added to This car served on the Virginia and Truckee up to 1950. It was transferred to the Nevada State Railroad Museum through the Nevada Heritage Association. This car retains its original appearance but has been fitted up with seats and safety features and now serves to carry passengers during steam up weeks.
What you see right behind me is Virginia Truckee 57.
Virginia and Truckee 57 was built by Oxford Co-op Car Company in Oxford, Pennsylvania in 1874. Virginia and Truckee 57 was originally numbered as Virginia and Truckee 178. In the 1902 general renumbering of the car became number 132. In 1923, the car was converted to a wrecking car and given the number 57. It was the second car to carry that number on the Virginia and Truckee. Virginia and Truckee 57 served until 1950 on the Virginia and Truckee. It was transferred to the Nevada State Railroad Museum via the Nevada Heritage Association. The car retains its original appearance but has been fitted with seats and safety features and serves as an air-conditioned passenger carrying car during steam-up weekends. Also, today Virginia and Truckee 57 can be seen at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada today.
Okay, I'm going to show you all the exhibits inside the Jacobson Interpretive Music Center building and show you what's changed compared to the video I made in 2016. And this time we'll enter through this door. So I'll get behind the camera and show you around. So here we go. Okay, so here we go inside the JIC, the Jacobson Interpretive Center. And these engines came from Sacramento. The one at that end and this one at this end. Well, anyways, around the time this video was made. This is probably a makeshift engine. And here's some wheels, map of the Eureka Mill Railroad, the Nevada Legend of Whistlin' Bill. That's a replica of the Whistlin' Bill, by the way. Here's some models of the Union Pacific caboose and outrace boxcar, railroad spikes, and yeah, here's when the Transcontinental Railroad was completed in 1869. The two men holding bottles up like that. Yeah, that's the 119, the original, and the Central Pacific 60, the Jupiter, the original. There's some more pictures on this wall. Pause and read. Feel free, I'll walk slower. Yeah. Look at all these cases. Oh, my bad. So anyways, here's some more pictures on this wall. And all the America Grew and such. There's an old-fashioned telegraph, lanterns, an old-fashioned telephone. Oh, and that's a picture of New York Central trains. And yeah. And look at this. Southern Pacific Streamline diesel. And that looks like a model of the Challenger engine. The McKean motor car, which there's one here. And was built in Omaha. Look at all these. And all this looked great. Go up here. Now, when I made videos talking about the smaller exhibits in here, back in 2016, there are these models again, the Jack and Margie Gibson collection. the Lion, which there's a replica here made in Iowa, in Clear Lake, Iowa. The J.W. Bowker, which is on loan around the time I made this video. The Virginian, the Empire, which is in Sacramento. The Tahoe, which is all the way in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. The Inyo, which is here. The Genoa, which is on loan here around the time I made this video. The Reno, which is at the recreated Virginia and Truckee Railroad, which just came from Tucson. There's the Dayton, which is currently on loan to the Sacramento Museum the time I made this video. The second 25, which is now in Virginia City. The McKee. No, wait, actually, that's the 25 that's here, obviously. But anyways, that's the 26, which was scrapped years ago. The 27, which is now the Comstock Heritage Museum in Virginia City. And the McKean Motor Car 22, which is a sister model, the 25 sister. Yeah, here's an old-fashioned grandfather clock as well. And a Nevada cement monument. And yeah, pretty cool. What you see right behind me is Dardanelle and Russellville 8.
Dardanelle and Russellville 8 was built by Cook Locomotive and Machine Works in Paterson, New Jersey in 1888 and is the 1861st steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 440 American type steam locomotive. Originally, this locomotive was built for the Denver, Texas and Fort Worth Railroad and was originally number 9. Later, it was renumbered 114. Then, in 1890, it was sold to the St. Louis Iron Mountain and Southern Railway. In 1906, it was bought by the Dardanelle and Russellville Railroad in Dardanelle, Arkansas, and was renumbered 8. In 1938, it was then leased to the 20th Century Fox Corporation in Malibu, California, and was used as a prop for the film Jesse James. Then afterwards, it went back to the Dardanelle and Russellville Railroad. In 1945, it was then purchased by the 20th Century Fox and appeared in other films like Sentimental Journey, Centennial Summer, and Scandalous John. Then it sat unused in the company's back lot for 10 years. In 1972, it was sold to Shortline Enterprises in Cucamonga, California, and it was restored to operating condition and was used in movies and TV specials such as The Gambler. In 1976, it was moved to Virginia City, Nevada, and was renumbered 28 as it operated on the Virginia and Truckee Tourist Railroad. In 1977, it was then moved to Jamestown, California, and eventually it had its number 8 again. As well as that, it served the Sierra Railroad there. Then in 1982, it was moved to the California State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California, and helped celebrate the grand opening of the museum in Old Town Sacramento. Later, it was then moved to the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, to provide steam-powered train rides and operated at the museum for a while till 2008. The firebox was severely damaged after explosions when her fuel oil hit hot spots in the firebox. In 2009, it was declared that she'll never operate again and was put in the shop to be repaired. The tender was traded with 25's tender, which was inoperable because of water tank leak. In 2019, it was dressed up as the Union Pacific 119 in honor of the 150th anniversary of the completion of the nation's first transcontinental railroad being completed in 1869. It was then put on display near the Wabasca Depot at the museum and sits on a siding where the track ends as well. Also, Dardanelle in Russellville 8 is the only remaining Dardanelle in Russellville 440 left in the world today, and can be found here on display at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, where it is today.
What you see right behind me is Western Pacific 657.
Western Pacific 657 was built by the Western Pacific Jeffrey Shops in Sacramento, California, likely in 1943, and is a wooden bay window caboose. This car was originally built as a boxcar once built by Pullman and had a 1500 number series. In the 1940s, it was rebuilt as a caboose. It was used for many years to serve as the train crew's office on the Western Pacific Railroad and was at the back of freight trains as well. Then it was retired and was sold to the Ponderosa Ranch in Incline Valley, Nevada. Then in 2004, the ranch closed and was bought by Incline Valley developer David Duffield. Then in 2009, he donated the caboose to the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, where it is seen on display today.
What you see right behind me is Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend 401.
Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend 401 was built by Edwards Motor Car Company in Sanford, North Carolina in 1926 and is a doodlebug. This unit was used for many years to haul people up and down the line on the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad in Ajo, Arizona. It would run between the copper mine in Ajo and Gila Bend. In 1943, it was installed with a six-cylinder white gasoline engine which replaced the original. Then in 1947, it was retired and was then donated to the Traveltown Museum in Los Angeles, California. In 1963, the car was traded to Mr. Lindley Bothwell for two trolley cars that operated in Los Angeles, California. In 1975, it was acquired by the Shortline Enterprises, and it was restored and operated on the Virginia and Truckee Railroad in Virginia City, Nevada during the 1976 season as the Washoe Zephyr, and was numbered 50. Then it was moved to Jamestown, California, where it was stored. In 1988, it was then moved to the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, and the museum soon took ownership of the car. In 1997, it received a new HP Cummins diesel engine, and it replaced the 75 horsepower white gasoline engine. In 1999, it received a new fluid drive transmission. Then after that, it was moved to the California State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, California, where it would be part of the event Rail Fair 99. As well as that, it was repainted to its appearance on the Tucson, Cornelia, and Gila Bend Railroad. Then afterwards, it returned to its prospective museum. Today, it is preserved here at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, and sometimes it operates on the museum grounds as well.
What you see right behind me is Virginia and Truckee 8.
Virginia and Truckee 8 was built by the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Shops in Virginia City, Nevada in 1869 and is a coach caboose. Also, the car is named Julia Bulette. It was originally numbered 1. For many years, it was used to carry passengers on the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. Originally, it was designed for caboose service, which in those days included carrying third-class passengers. It was used for the first-class passenger train. The car was taken into the shops for refurbishment and returned to its old service in 1872 and was renumbered 8. Then in 1908, it was rebuilt as a maintenance car. Then in 1915, it was converted to being a combination sleeper car where it included a workroom diner for the Interstate Commerce Commission valuation. In 1923, it was rebuilt and the side doors were removed. The car was converted to maintenance of way, construction, cook, and dining car service. In 1945, it was rebuilt into a club car and received the name. The name is misspelled for Julia Bulette of Virginia City, which was for a Lions Club excursion. In 1947, it was sold to MGM Pictures, which is short for Metro Goldwyn Mayer. In 1970, it was sold at an auction to Ronald G. Steiner and was restored back to a coach and numbered 8. In 1973, it was acquired by Shortline Enterprises and was restored again and continued movie service. In 1988, it was acquired by the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada. It is preserved at the museum today, and sometimes it is used in passenger service on the museum's tracks as well.
What you see right behind me is Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming 1.
Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming 1 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1875 and is the 37/12 steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 260 mogul type steam locomotive. Also, the locomotive is named Glenbrook. This locomotive was used by the operated on the Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming Railroad, but never numbered 1 for that though, and was used on the line hauling cut timber and cordwood from the sawmills in Glenbrook on the shores of Lake Tahoe to the top of Spooner Summit, where Highway 50 currently leaves the Tahoe Basin. At the summit, the lumber and wood was taken from flat cars and put in water flume that carried it to the south end of Carson City, Nevada. There it was reloaded onto flat cars of the Virginia and Truckee Railroad and carried to Virginia City, Nevada, where the lumber was used in construction and as mine supports, while the cord wood fueled the hoist boilers. In 1899, the line was torn up and the equipment was moved to Tahoe City, California, on the northwest shore of the lake, where the Bliss family built the Lake Tahoe Railway and Transportation Company that ran along the Truckee River to Truckee, California, where they met the Central Pacific Railroad, and this locomotive given the number 1. In 1937, it ran on the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad. Also, the locomotive was nearly scrapped. Then, in 1943, Hope Bliss convinced the family to purchase the locomotive from the scrap company, and then it was presented to the Nevada State Museum in the Old Mint Building in Carson City, Nevada, and for many years it sat on display beside the museum, and children even climbed around the locomotive. Then in 1980, the state of Nevada created the Nevada State Railroad Museum here in Carson City, Nevada. and in 1981 it was moved on a truck to the museum in preparation for the long work of restoring it to its original 1875 factory look. Then later, it was soon planned to be one of the oldest operating narrow-gauge steam locomotives in the continent in North America as well. In 2021, it attended Victorian Iron Horse Roundup event at the Cumbers and Toltec Scenic Railroad, and then came back to the museum afterwards. Also, Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming 1 is one of two surviving Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming steam engines, as well as two Nevada County narrow gauge locomotives, and both are 260s, and Nevada County narrow gauge 5 is at the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum in Nevada City, California, as well as Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming 1 is here at the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, Nevada, and like I said, it operates occasionally here as well.
What you see right here is a handcar that was used on probably the Virginia and Truckee Railroad years ago until it ended up here at the Nevada State Railroad Museum here in Carson City. And also this handcar, they sometimes bring out to roll up to the turntable and back to the shed. And also, one point it was painted orange, till it was painted this color, yellow. Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today in Matthew Lapp Train Guy. Also, I hope to see you all again real soon. And also, if you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, the subscribe button is just down below the video screen. If you didn't give the Facebook page like yet, here's where you'll want to go. And if you didn't follow the Instagram page yet, here's where you'll want to go as well. Also, be sure to get your merch at teesprings.com. The link is in the description box below, along with the Facebook and Instagram pages. And as always, remember to subscribe to the Train Guy. So this is Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy, signing out. Until next time, all aboard!